Hello, welcome to New Hope Presbyterian Church. I'm Pastor Brian, and this is my friend Schelling who's doing the recording. I'm excited to announce that after 6 months in COVID-19 and social distancing, we are preparing to reopen our sanctuary for worship gathering in person. As we've all known in the recent world, things have changed a little bit, so we want to take the next few minutes to show you what worship is going to look like as we reopen on October 11th. To start with, it's actually all going to begin on Mondays. We have to keep our numbers down to 15 to 20 people, so we're going to ask you to call into our office at 281-492-8520 and talk to our office manager, Joanne Franklin, or send her an email. And Hal's going to put that phone number and email address up there. And reserve your seats. We don't want to have too many people in there. If you do send an email, make sure you get a response. I don't want you to show up and not be allowed in. On the other positive side, we're going to have two services. We're going to have an 8:30 and a 10:30 service. But it's all going to start on Monday, so during the week to either call in or email in and register to get your name on the list. With that being said, come on, let's go see what else is different. So we're here. We're at the sanctuary doors. We're getting ready to go in. One of the first things you're going to see is the signs that we're going to have outside. And these signs are doing a couple of things, my friends. First off, they're welcoming you. We're glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. But in an interest to be loving of our neighbors and keeping things safe, they left a whole list of symptoms: coughing, chills, muscle pain, sore throat, diarrhea, feeling bad. We're going to ask that if you are feeling any of these symptoms and just not feeling good, we're going to ask that you maybe go back home, get yourself healthy, and take the opportunity to watch our virtual worship, which will still be posted on YouTube and Facebook. We will still continue to post those, but just take a look. If you've got any of those symptoms, we love you, and we love each other, and we want to be safe and friendly towards each other. So if you got those symptoms, go ahead and head back on home if you don't mind. Let's go see what's inside. When you walk into the sanctuary, there's going to be quite a few things that are different. The first one is there's going to be an usher here. Linda Owens is helping us out today. And she's going to do a whole series of things for everybody's safety. The first one that's going to happen is she's going to ask me to sanitize my hands. And we'll do that. Everybody's going to be asked to sanitize when they come in. The next thing she's going to do is make sure I've made my reservation and check me off that list. If we don't have enough people that morning, say less than 15, we might have a seat for you. If we start getting up to 20, we're going to have to ask you to come back to a different service. The next thing she's going to do is take my temperature. And she'll look at it, and if it's 99.9, you're welcome to come in. If it's 100, we're going to ask you to go home and enjoy our virtual worship. She's also going to make sure I've got a mask on. Everybody in the service is going to be required to have a mask. If you don't have a mask, you forgot yours, we'll actually have masks here that we can give you for that day. And they'll be yours to take home. We're not going to share masks. Once we get through this process, the usher will then lead you to a seat. Unfortunately, we don't get to pick. We do have assigned seats, but she knows where they're at. When you get to your pews, you're going to find that there's quite a few different things this morning. First off is you'll notice there's no hymnals, no Bibles, no writing instruments. They've all been removed as we limit any possibilities of cross contact. Another thing you'll notice is each pew has a time on it. Some say 1 o'clock, some say 8:30. Linda's been gracious enough to put me in the 10:30 pew. We've divided the sanctuary in thirds for 3 services, 2 for our New Hope congregation and 1 for our Korean brothers and sisters. When the worship service begins, the dynamics are going to be different. For years, we've encouraged participants to be active participants, singing and praying. Well, now we're going to ask you to be a passive participant. We've reduced the number of corporate prayers, times when people pray together. We will eventually have words to the hymns on the screens, but when these opportunities come up and we normally ask people to raise their voices, we're going to ask everybody to keep their voices down, or even silent is okay. if you feel compelled to sing the hymn or to pray the Lord's Prayer, we're asking you to do it in a conversational tone. Trust me, God and the Holy Spirit can hear you no matter what you're doing. The worship service will proceed as many do, with a call to worship, a prayer of confession and forgiveness. Scriptures will be read from the pulpit by the pastor. We will have at least 3 hymns played by our keyboardist. There will be an anthem, usually a soloist. At some point, there will be a passing of the peace. In the past, everybody would get up and walk around and shake hands and hug. Well, starting on over 11th, we're going to ask when we pass the peace, wave at your friend and say, peace be with you, quietly. Service will proceed. At the end of the service, after the charge and benediction is given, rather than everybody rush into the door, so as we maintain social distancing, the ushers will come out and dismiss each pew one by one. After the usher dismisses your pews as you're walking out, a couple of things you're going to notice. First one you're going to notice is that during the service, we didn't take up an offering. But, like any other congregation and church, we do require funds to function. If you feel called to make an offering that day, we'll have a plate located right here on this table at the back of the sanctuary. As you leave, we're going to ask you to go straight out the sanctuary doors. Until further notice, our fellowship hall will remain closed due to social distancing rules. We just can't have people getting too close yet. We're not there yet. We will get there someday soon. On your way out, just as you did on your way in, we're going to ask you to sanitize your hands again. Now, one of the things you may have noticed for a little bit is I keep taking my mask off. I want to remind everybody, the moment you walk in the sanctuary, the moment you leave, we're going to ask you to keep your mask on. I've been taking mine off to facilitate the recording of this safety video. Friends, we're glad you're coming. Look forward to seeing you on October 11th. Well, our corporate worship service has come to a close, but the real worship begins. How we live our lives in the world is where everything we learn in there, we take it out there. You walk out the doors, you're going to want to take that mask off, especially come October 11th. We're going to see our friends. There's going to be a great desire to shake hands and hug. I'm going to encourage everybody, when you come out into the parking lot, please remember social distancing, 6 to 8 feet apart. If you're staying with your friends, keep your mask on. Friends, as we gather together to worship, God is the most important thing. But God has taught us to love our neighbors as ourselves, and being safe is how we're going to keep getting together. So I look forward to seeing everybody on October 11th and all the Sundays after that. Until then, may your day be blessed, peaceful, safe, and comfortable. See you in a week.